Hey everyone, welcome to this quick grab a stack of rock interlude. That's Aaron from the KMA. You can tell because it says so right there. And Aaron, I just want to thank you twice. Once for, hey, showing up here this afternoon and doing this quick recording, but also because just off camera, we have this. And inside this, well, spoiler alert, 8-track tapes, among other things. So tell me the story. You were in Hamilton, Ontario?
No, Harriston.
Harriston, Ontario. Of all places, Harriston, Ontario. That's cottage country.
Oh, well, that's south of cottage country to me. That's where I grew up. You Southerners.
No Southerners, yeah.
Yeah, so my lovely wife and I went down, picked up her mom. We took her out for lunch, and then we went over to Harriston for a wander. And while we were there, we went into Scotty's, which I have talked about on the KMA before. And that's the cool shop where he has antiques and a whole bunch of stuff, but also bins of records. And it's always fun to go in there. And he's amazing because he'll put prices on things. And then when you go to pay, he just sort of makes up a price. And it's always lower than what it would have been. He's really good. This trip was also cool because I got to meet his lovely wife this first time. The story that I find amusing about all of this has nothing to do with what's in the box. It does. But he doesn't take cards because it's such a small operation that he gets charged if you use your debit or Visa, right? So you just take cash. And I completely forgot that he only takes cash. And so I got up there and he made up a price for the tapes. And I said, I don't have any cash. Where's an ATM? And my lovely mother-in-law said, don't worry about it. Here you go. And she gave me the money. And I said, okay, I'll get this back to you. No problem. And she said, don't worry about it. And I said, you are not paying for stuff for other people you don't even know. Right. And she said, oh, don't worry about it. So when we got back to my town, I went down to the bank machine, got money, put it in a thank you card and mailed it to her.
She can't get out of it now.
Yeah. So of course that prompted a phone call saying, what are you doing? But anyway, so so while I was in there, they have this room towards the back, and there was this. Do you remember Stedman's?
Yes, we had a Stedman's in Kincardine, and I bought Judas Priest Live there and White Lion Big Game, among other cassettes.
I remember buying the Bare Naked Ladies sandwich tape at Stedman's in Wingham.
I'm pretty sure I saw that tape at the Stedman's in Kincardine.
Yep, but the reason I bring it up is because they had those spinners.
Yeah,
right.
That's right.
Yeah,
metal ones that the clerk had to unlock when you picked the tape that you wanted.
Yeah. Now this one was different. It wasn't locked, but he had a spinner, but it was full of 8 tracks. And so I'm like, okay. So I went over and I looked, and there was this whole spinner. All 4 sides were full, and then there were 2 boxes on the floor as well. I think you'll remember I sent you pictures.
You did.
And I took pictures of all the sides, and I took pictures of the boxes on the floor, and I sent them to you. And I said, what do you think? Because there was a bunch of stuff in there that like old classic rock and stuff. And I thought, I don't know, I don't see those very often. So I thought I'd send them. And immediately I'm getting these texts back. Like, I've got to let Tim know when I've got this one and that one. And, so then there was
Tim Durling is who we're speaking of.
Oh, of course.
Yes.
The mighty Tim Durling. Yes. And so I think there were 4 in the end. There were 4 that you guys wanted.
Yeah. 3 for me, 1 for him.
Right. And so that's what we got. So that's part of what's in that box. The other rest of it is your birthday present, which I have to say is like over a month now.
Yeah, it was the 19th of July, so it's over a month. Yeah.
But
we would have recorded this 2 weeks ago, except we had things happen. So
yeah,
Tim told me he's been going to the mailbox waiting for something that hasn't even been mailed yet.
Poor guy, you got to put him out of his misery and to send the damn thing. Now you've got it.
Now I've got it. So now I'm going to mail it to him. I was just talking to him. So the plan is I'm going to unbox this, but I'm not going to show the tape that's for Tim. And if I remember correctly, those 8-track tapes were $6 a piece.
6 or 7, but of course that's not what he charged me.
Right, and you wouldn't let me pay was another issue.
Of course not. That's not an issue.
Well, we'll talk.
No,
so I'm opening up this box, which is Aaron.
Like my mother-in-law.
Yeah, I know your mother-in-law money. Aaron also
You know.
always packages these things up very well, very safe. There's never been a broken case in all of the dozens of packages he sent, and there's usually a note in there too. But
Of course, now you've said that, this is what's going to happen.
right. So first of all, we have a grocery bag.
Oh,
Oh
that
no,
was just
Mastermind
stuffing.
Toys bag.
That's just stuffing. Oh, and I also have to say, as you open this, I only remember some of the things that are in there.
Yeah, so this will
So
be
this
fun
is going to be
both of
fun
us.
for me too.
So I first of all, I'm certain that Mastermind Toys bag once held Lego.
Probably. Although the Mastermind is now gone from our town.
Ours as well.
Yeah.
Should I start with the 8-track tapes? Yeah, let's start with those tapes because that's what people are expecting from my earlier description. We're going to leave Tim's tape. I'm going to take Tim's tape here. We're going to put it aside.
Yeah, they were wrapped in separate bubble wrap.
Yes, I see this. So we're going to start with this one.
Okay.
Which ironically, I bought in Toronto on CD with you a couple of months ago.
Oh, well.
Styx Cornerstone.
Mm-hmm.
So I own this now on vinyl, CD, and 8-track. I just need cassette to get the 4.
And you know what? For the savvy Grab a Stack of Rock viewers, that is the tape I was holding up in your birthday message.
Ah!
When I said you were a cornerstone of this community.
That's right. It was. That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just looking at this. And as you can see, it's got program 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think this tape has any tracks that are split into 2 on 2 programs, as 8-track tapes often do. So this one here is seamless. There's no tracks that are split in 2.
That's a great shout. I never noticed that.
I just noticed it too. Let's see about these other 2. These both are Triumph. And first we have Progressions of Power. There we go. And you can see this one does have tracks split. Look at program 1. We have Tear the Roof Off Beginning and Tear the Roof Off Conclusion. So that happens on this tape.
Can you imagine?
Look at the Attic logo, Aaron.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a good image of it. It's a little foggy, but I've never seen one like that with like the stained glass window behind it.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice, Aaron. This is a nice looking tape.
Yeah. Oh, they were all in great shape. Scotty only has the good stuff. Now, can you imagine back in the day, you bought that and you had your 8-track player and that was how you listened to music and you never heard the song without interruption?
Well, I have very, very vague memories of that because my parents had an 8-track player when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And they had the Beatles and they had some other stuff on 8-track. And I have very, very vague memories of the song kind of like coming to a quick fade. And then there was a clunk, clunk on the machine as it switched tracks. I have a very vague memory of that. And I do have strong memories, though, of playing a tape and then just pushing the track buttons and making it cycle between the 4 tracks, which probably wasn't good for the machine. But
no.
At that point, it was almost more of a toy because my parents didn't use it that much.
Ah, okay.
This is the next one and the final 8-track that we'll be seeing today. But on this portion of the program, this is just a game. And you can see again, program 1, Young Enough to Cry beginning, Young Enough to Cry conclusion.
Wow.
So both of these Triumph tapes have split tracks, and they're both on track 1 and 2.
Oh, and it has the logo is not colored this time.
Not colored.
Hmm.
Also, this is a white tape versus a black tape.
Oh, I'm sure Mr. Durling has all kinds of reasons and stories about why that is.
Well, when we record the second part of this video with him, I'll keep these tapes handy and he can explain to us that they were made in a factory in Mississauga in 1984 or whatever the case may be. He will know. Okay, so I'm going to work my way through the birthday gifts.
Yes,
The first one is wrapped in blue tissue.
Oh, God.
And it feels bookish. No, it feels deep. Oh, my God! Dude, this is freaking rare, man. This is rare now. Where'd you find this?
There's a note with it.
Okay.
I don't know if it's inside or if it was in the paper.
Oh, there it is.
One of my little posties.
And it's always the same stationery. Too,
yeah.
Now
read awesome that. Read
vacation stationery. So it reads, a note from Aaron.
Yeah.
Mike, yup, I got Sonic Boom to send it, you bastard, because I left it behind. Never leave a Marillion behind, lol. Enjoy. Wow.
Can I tell you, I've waited a month for you to open that. And when I kept saying, I want the look on your face on video,
You got it.
that's because of that.
So I'm just going to quickly go through what's on this 5-disc set, I think. Yeah,
Mhm.
5 discs. So disc 1 is Afraid of Sunlight, a 2019 remix by Michael Hunter. Disc 2 is the original mix. Disc 3 and 4 are live at the Rotterdam Ahoy in 1995, an unreleased gig. And man, there's a lot of tunes on that gig. And then the Blu-ray is the Michael Hunter remix in surround sound and stereo and everything else, but surround sound's the main reason to listen to the Blu-ray for me, because I don't listen to music on my TV very often, but
No.
I do collect those surround sound mixes. Now here's something that pisses me off, and it's not your fault. This is Marillion's fault.
Okay.
They put a whole bunch of these Afraid of Sunlight jams and early versions on the Blu-ray, but they're not on a CD. So I can only listen to that on the TV. Now, I'd be willing to bet that those are all available on other Marillion releases, but I would have to go through it with a fine-tooth comb to know.
You'd have to pick through 2,000 other releases.
They did this on the Season's End DVD in the box set as well. They put tracks on there that aren't on CD. And Marillion, listen to me, man. How much does it cost to make a CD? $2? Throw in the extra tracks on a CD, Marillion.
Mm-hmm. Now, question. Does that complete a collection, or are there still others you need?
One more.
You need one more. Okay.
I believe Brave is the last one I need now.
That surprises me. Now, hold on.
Oh!
Wait. Oh, okay. There's one other bit to that story.
Okay.
When I emailed them, because you can email Sonic Boom, and
Yes.
I said, listen, hey, I was in your store and my buddy left this thing behind.
He did?
Can you find it and mail it to me? And they said, sure. And then they wrote back and they said, we can't find it. And I went, oh, crap. That means some other smart person bought that thing, right? And they said, where was it when you were here? And I said, well, it wasn't in the big glass case that's under the stairs.
Yeah.
With the big Nirvana box and all that. That's in your video.
Yeah.
It was in the middle, right? In that thin glass case that's sort of over in the middle of the CD section, in front of the CD section. They said, oh, and they wrote back and said, oh, okay, no problem. We found it. So then because there's this moment of panic where I thought they had sold it already. But yeah. Gotcha.
You found that.
Gotcha. Oh, now, you found it. I just
can't believe you did that.
Hooked it up. Well, of course you can.
Now this next one's a surprise because I didn't know this existed. 2015 release, The Best of Jacob Moon.
Oh yeah.
Jacob was a guest on the LeBrain Train back in the day. We did an interview with Jacob and he did a live performance, and I still play his live version of Someday by Steve Earle on the show occasionally, but The Best of Jacob Moon, Live a Little, such a great song. There's some good stuff on this, man.
That is a really good CD.
Subdivisions is on here.
Oh yeah, that's one of his best.
My first physical copy of Subdivisions. And yes, that is a Rush cover, and it looks like he also does Ribbon of Darkness by Gordon Lightfoot.
Yeah, that is a good CD.
Dude, it is a good CD. There's no, I think there's no booklet. Whoever sold it snagged the booklet.
I didn't even look. I'm sorry. I didn't look for that.
But I'm happy.
If I find another one, I'll send it to you.
Yeah. Let me know. Okay, now this next thing is another Aaron special, a shirt.
Oh, yeah.
You always get me a shirt.
Oh, yeah.
You always get me a shirt.
Yeah.
Every time you get me a shirt. And now it's a Maiden book.
Hey, but you know what?
Oh, my God.
I got one for me, too.
Dude, next time we go to Toronto, let's match.
Absolutely. Hey, Mike, we can both have Eddie on our tits.
That's a classic quote from a previous episode.
I got Eddie on my tits.
Now, next,
there's more.
So this is kind of interesting. An Eagles 7-inch.
Oh, yeah, I forgot I put those in there.
Take It to the Limit. The Eagles.
One more
with on the B side, After the Thrill Is Gone.
That's not a B side.
That's not a B side.
Those are two A sides.
Oh, now this one though.
Oh, I see. That's why.
Styx, Come Sail Away and Put Me On. Wow, from the album The Grand Illusion. This is my first stick 7-inch ever.
Really? That
Yep.
surprises me.
I know. That's a beauty right there. Come sail away.
Yep. That's why I was trying to think of why I would have put the Eagles in your thing, but then it's because I found the sticks, but then I also found the Eagles. So that it was the tag along.
Now there's more in here. There's
Really?
there's
To all the people watching this, my surprise is genuine. I don't remember what all of this is.
maybe there isn't more. Maybe this is
Oh
just
no, that's just a
material.
bag.
Yeah, oh, good. I can use that.
Okay.
So there's a second note though.
Oh.
Which, because I open it from the bottom up, this is Mike, opening instructions. The bubble wrap is the 8 tracks for you and Tim. The rest is for your birthday.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a sad day when I run out of those notes.
I bet you can find them on eBay.
Maybe. Those are the kind of things you used to find in like dollar stores and stuff. And they'd have those racks with everybody's name and there'd be notes like that. And there'd be coffee mugs and pens and stuff and all the different names. Right. And it was always really hard to find Aaron.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't have a lot of Aarons.
No.
But a lot of Mikes.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess it's a more common name. But yeah, so when those run out, we're gonna have to do a search and find something else.
That'll be a mission. We'll get Durling to do some searching. He owes you.
Oh no, doesn't owe me a damn thing.
No, I know.
We'll just have to build a time machine and go back to the 80s when all that stuff was everywhere.
Anyway, that's it for this portion of the video. This is where we cut. And here comes Tim. And look at that, with internet magic. We are back, and this time we have Tim Durling. And look, Aaron and I are wearing our matching shirts. That will make sense to you, Tim, when you see part 1.
You guys are giving me credit. You think it'll make sense to me? Thanks, eh?
Well, thank you two guys for joining me for this rather silly unboxing video.
Hey, this is a momentous occasion.
It's not silly.
This is I mean, I don't know what you talked about in the first part, but I mean, this is the prophecy is fulfilled.
I can show you what we talked about in the first part real quick, and then Aaron had a question about it.
Oh,
but okay. I unboxed, as you may recall, these 3 tapes, and I was remarking to Aaron how there were a few on here where there was no track splits between the 8. The 4 tracks, and Aaron was curious if that is more or less common on 8-track tapes.
It's pretty uncommon. It must have just so happened that those tracks were just the right length, and there's no repeated tracks, eh?
Nothing like that. It's just a standard track listing. No splits.
It's like Tom Petty said, you got lucky. That doesn't happen a lot,
Hey, it's good to be king.
Well, we are about to find out if the mystery 4th tape that we did not show in the last episode has any track splits. So, Tim, this is now on you. You have to now show us the Holy Grail tape that Aaron found.
We have waited so long.
Yes, this has been a long time coming.
Circles wow, money talks, but I'm going to open my flat rate box. Oh, you can't see it. There it is.
That has a song.
Flat rate box.
So this originated in Harriston, Ontario.
Yep.
Well,
this originated what? 4 years ago? 3 years ago?
When Aaron sent that first box.
Yeah, one of the first ever times that we spoke. Aaron had mentioned that there was quite a few 8 tracks by one particular group, and I was like, was one of them? And he said, no, I don't think so, but I'll be on the lookout for it. And I'm like, yeah, he'll never find that. Nobody finds that. And I didn't realize just who I was dealing with here.
Oh, you have no idea.
Yeah. Aaron has powers.
Danger.
This guy has found stuff for me in the past that's just... I mean, right there.
Well, that one was easier. I made you swear in front of your mother-in-law, Mike.
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. You did.
Okay.
You did.
So,
Aaron, where the did you find this?
All right. So, okay, hold on. Now that I got that, pardon me, guys. Pardon me.
Oh, I hope this is the right one.
Oh, this will be
How
great.
could it not be? How could
You
it
might
not
see,
be?
you might see me weep on
Well, my big concern is that it's in good condition and it's the right one, because I know I don't know. Because I know
Hey.
you are a collector.
Yeah, I'm a picky so and so. So
I didn't
anyway,
say
so
that.
I've got this thing for Mike here, and how this is like trying to fold a fitted sheet. Like, what is with this?
Yeah,
This is like
I'd recommend
changing.
using a pair of scissors, but
This is like changing the duvet cover. I hate it.
Oh.
But oh, okay, more. Oh, what is?
And some of this bubble wrap, by the way, came all the way from Australia.
Hey, that is well traveled.
Just real quick, should I be concerned that it's ticking?
That's normal.
That's
normal.
completely normal. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So you got me some bubble wrap. Sweet.
Yep. Genuine Australian bubble wrap.
So do you think there's Australian air in the bubbles, or do you think it's still China air?
I'd rather it be Australian air than it be a poisonous snake or something. Oh man.
Okay, and we're gonna zoom in on Tim now.
This is this is an 8-track rail I've been looking for years. Universal Juvenile.
It's in great shape.
It's hardly got any bubbling on it.
There's a hole there,
and it's got all of the Max Webster 8-tracks that you sent me before have this hole punched in them.
Isn't that weird?
I didn't do it.
No, but it's like they all came from the same. I don't know. For some reason, this particular 8-track, even though it's only 1980, I've never been able to find, and the only one that's on Discogs is a U.S. Mercury one, which is never on sale. So this is great. I now have all of the Max Webster 8-tracks, so there'll be an episode sometime.
That's awesome.
So, and this is the one. I said, Aaron, is one of those Universal Juveniles? He's like, I don't know. I'll look, and it wasn't. But that's all right. We found, we found good homes for all of those.
Mm-hmm.
They made their way to Mr. Popoff. So
that's right.
And I remember when he opened those on an episode of Sea of Tranquility, and he said something to the effect, "Yeah, it's almost the whole damn collection." Like so.
Yeah.
But not this. I don't
know. So is this the very first copy that you've seen physically in person?
Yes, and it's the first ever Canadian anthem copy I've seen. Because, like I said, all I've ever seen up to that is the U.S. Mercury one, which I would have gladly bought if one had been on sale. But no, this is cool. And let me see. Yeah, there's actually only one split on here, but the order of the songs is all mixed up.
Right.
Would you like to hear the songs?
Yeah.
They're not quite in order. Well, it starts out, program 1 is In the World of Giants. And then check this out. And then Mike's favorite song, What Do You Do with the Urge? Program 2 is Battle Scar. Blue River Liquor Shine. That's a tongue twister. Program 3, April in Toledo. I'm talking to myself. Juveniles, Don't Stop. And here's where the one split is Cry Out Your Life, Begin, which should be the last song on the album. But anyway, Program 4 is Cry Out Your Life, Conclusion. And then there's Chuckers and Drive and Desire. So.
That's an interesting way to listen to it.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah.
Do they make the track order on an 8-track based on the track lengths?
Yes, absolutely they do. They try to keep all 4 of the programs as close to the same length as possible.
Okay.
So there's not a big gap of space at the end of any of the programs, because there's no rewinding with these things. There's only fast forward. So they want you just to be able to end the program, go on to the next one.
I was saying to Mike, can you imagine if that was the only copy of that album you'd ever owned, and you'd never heard that song without a break in the middle of it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that happened for people, and then when CDs became a thing, and they're like, "This is amazing." But I mean, anybody that had records or cassettes would have been able to hear it. unbroken. But I thought you were going to say, imagine if that's the only copy of the album you had, and therefore you got used to the songs in that order.
Oh
And you
yeah.
come to
too.
realize that's not the intended song order. This isn't as bad as some, but yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean this was a grail for me. So
Awesome.
good sleuthing, Aaron. That's amazing. And I was telling Mike, it's like I don't know if you know this or not, but you now have 1/4 of the Triumph 8-track discography because there's only 8, and he's got 2 of them.
There you go. So thanks
it's,
again, Aaron.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome, and
Yeah.
you're both welcome. But I would like to say that it's not actually sleuthing; it was total luck.
Well, it's a combination, but you also knew it's when you know what people are looking for, and so
Right.
you're on the lookout for them. And
see, he's
and
not giving himself enough credit. I've shopped with this man. Okay,
Oh, here we go.
I have shopped with this man, and he'll be like, "Brother Jeff needs XYZ by ABC," and he'll be like checking every section of every store for this one record or tape or whatever, and if he remembers this stuff, and like he's texted me, "Hey Mike, do you still need such and such that I told him about 10 years ago?" And that's how I've acquired so many of these treasures, because this guy remembers. Pat on the back to this guy who never gives himself enough credit.
So
Never.
And also sometimes what happens when you do find something that you've been looking for a long time, then you start seeing it all the time. I don't think that's going to happen in this case. I think this is going to remain. Like you could go on eBay. I haven't been on there a while looking for Max Webster, but you could probably go on eBay and find like High Class and Borrowed Shoes, maybe A Million Vacations. You don't see Max Webster 8-tracks that much.
No, and like I said, the quick story is I was down with my wife to pick up her mom, and we took her out for lunch, and then we went over to Harriston, and Scotty's is there, and I was like, hey, I want to pop in, and there was that big spinner there, and all 4 sides were 8-tracks, and there were boxes on the floor. So I took pictures of all of the stuff, and I sent them to Mike, and he says, I'll contact him. And then
I saw, like, from afar, it's pretty hard to miss Kim Mitchell's, like, yellow jumpsuit. I'm like, is that what I think it is? So I mean, I zoomed right in on that. But I mean, I remember Mike sending me the pictures, and even the 8-tracks that we didn't want, they were quality ones. They weren't crap.
He gets good stuff.
So that's a sign of someone that they're not going to buy 10 copies of the Lawrence Welk box set or a bunch of whatever.
It was cool.
It's quality stuff. So there's only one question mark now with Max Webster and 8-tracks.
Okay.
You know what that might be, Mike? What might exist on 8-track yet?
Okay, so you said earlier that you had a complete Max Webster 8-track collection. You said that earlier.
As far as I know.
Okay, so
there's
I'm not sure.
There's one wild card. We talked about it in our rare CD episode, or one of our rare CD episodes.
Okay, I think it was Diamonds. Then.
Yeah. So that came out in 81. It would only have come out in Canada, but 81 could be an Anthem 8-track of it, but I've never heard tell of it. By the same token, the same year, April Wine Aquarius put out the best of April Wine rock ballads, only in Canada. There was no international release. That might exist on 8-track, but again, I don't know. So, but as far as the studio albums and the live album, this is a category of 8-track completeness, because I'm so weird. It's like, how many complete 8-track collections do you have? I'm like, that depends on how you define complete.
Right.
Because
of the unknowns.
There's complete retail. There's complete, which is all the known albums, including the RCOs. There's maybe you've got complete retail and then one of the RCOs, but not all. And then there's complete as far as I know. And this is a complete. This one and April Wine are complete as far as I know. So you can never say. I could never say definitively, but this is a grail, and I haven't crossed one of those off for a while. So it's really awesome. So yeah, it's crazy to me that it's taken this long to find a Max Webster 8-track in Canada.
That's what blows my mind.
Yeah, like
Because I don't know rarity of those things.
yeah.
But as curator of the KMA's Grail list, I have to say, to hear you use that word makes me feel good.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, it's good when you find something for somebody. It's a
Yeah.
great feeling, especially when you know they've been looking for it, and I'm like, oh, there it is. So you grab it, and you're like, hey, check this out, and you're
Yeah.
like, how much? Don't worry about it. I already bought it.
Yeah. That happens.
Yeah.
That
Pretty
has
much
happened.
how it goes. That's pretty much
Yeah.
how it goes with this guy.
So
I'm just glad it arrived intact with all that bubble wrap to protect that precious
I've
Max
been
Webster.
3 days. I've been looking at this box. I just been like, I know what it looks like. As a matter of fact, the day that Mike sent it to me, it was a good enough picture that I could make out the track listing. So I created a Discogs entry for it.
Oh,
And it just so
Nice.
happens because some 8-tracks, if you've only got the front view, you don't have the track listing, but this one you do. So I was
yeah.
able to add this to Discogs because it wasn't on there before. So anytime
Wow.
somebody tells you, well, it's not on Discogs, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It doesn't
I
mean
mean,
it
somebody hasn't put it up there yet. It's
well,
like Wikipedia.
either it really doesn't exist or just nobody's added it yet. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So yeah,
Well,
you found a real gem there. Like that's and it's just the randomness of it. Like it's so
yeah.
cool. You just and when it comes to these age, like you look for enough vinyl and enough vinyl places, you usually stumble upon things, but with 8-track, you just never know.
Mhm.
And they could turn up in places where you'd never expect to find anything musical.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah. And, like my job in the thrift shop, I used to sometimes get boxes of them, but like you said, they were all Lawrence Welk and oh, what was that lady? Mrs. Something's Party. I forget what those were. Mrs. Something Party. And there were all lots of those. And they're like polkas and stuff that,
Yeah.
you never really got.
Nana Muscuri.
yeah.
Possibly a lot of cassettes of her.
Yeah.
And this place where I was,
Connie Francis.
yeah,
Conway
Lord,
Twitty.
Oh yeah, a lot of country. Yeah, a lot.
Well, though you speak of that, I just acquired this, and I'm sure that this isn't very rare.
That's Johnny Cash, though.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that this isn't rare. I mean, it's a country greatest hits album, but this is the one that we grew up with in the car, and it's also my first red tape. So to me,
so that's
why
a
not?
US. That's a US, an old US Columbia one, because those didn't last. Well, I should say that those didn't last past 1978.
Okay.
And that's a really old. You can tell by the way that they're written, and no track breaks.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that place where I found that tape, Tim, is the kind of place that would have that.
Yeah.
Because he also has another room that's full of antiques and stuff, and then he has a room that's full of like action figures that he found and stuff. It's just random.
Yeah.
Mike goes, "Ooh, well, I sent you a picture of some Star Wars stuff," and you're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, no, nobody wants those."
Well, it's not nobody wants those, but the more recent figures, they're just not for me. If you'd shown me a picture of like a vintage stormtrooper or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, man, go send it my way.
Do you know what I didn't have a lot of Star Wars toys, even though I love Star Wars. I just didn't. I don't know. I just didn't collect. But one thing I remember my dad brought home from a trip, and it's bad enough that I ruined the box because I kept opening it, but I wish I'd have kept it. And as soon as I say this, anybody that collects Star Wars is going to cringe. The micro collection.
Mm-hmm.
I had the Bespin Gantry, which is where Vader cuts off Luke's arm. So there was 2 figures each of like posed figures, not really figures, but you know what I mean? They're posed. Yeah. One Luke's going like this, and the other one he's got his lightsaber out. And I used to have that, and I have no idea what happened to it.
Well, one of these times we're on here, I'll dig it out and I'll show you my Luke Skywalker still in the bubble.
That's right. His mom forgot to give
it. They all came. The box was pink.
Oh, okay.
The box those
I think that was Galoob or somebody that put out those.
No, I think it was Kenner. I think it was Kenner, and they all. I think that they all formed a big.
That's right.
Like Cloud City.
You make a diorama kind of thing.
Diorama, yeah. I had look. I had too much to eat, and I had a bad case of diorama, so never mind. Sorry.
Well, folks, that's our signal to wrap it
With
up.
that, I can clear out a room fast. Yeah.
Anyway,
very
thank you so much,
That's
guys.
awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, take care, guys, and we will see you on the flip side.
Woohoo!